the Reverb G2 in 2023. Would you buy one? Let me put it like this. I already did. 5 days in, I got a third Reverb G2, and I wanted to talk about why today in today's video. Always remember you can shop at my eBay store, GB Hatchery. Let's get to this unboxing. First off, I wanted to say I have a Reverb G2 version 1 with, actually that's this one, the Reverb G2 version 1 right here, and it has the face gasket, the FOV face gasket that was 3D printed. You can see I bought this from someone for $40. It's 3D printed. And then that design was basically incorporated into the Reverb G2 V2. So a lot of people know that, but this also has a better cable box and it stays connected no matter what computer you have. So the first one, it had kind of a rough start. The V1, it worked a lot of times on a certain port on some computers, but the Reverb G2 V2, it works better. I actually like the way this face gasket feels better. It feels more snug and you can pull it off. If you like the old fit, they include an extra piece and then you can use that. So a lot of people know these things, but I just thought I would point that out to anybody that's new to the Reverb G2. And if they're looking at getting one in 2023, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. It's not the Ambassador. I have another G2 V2 here, and this is an excellent PC VR headset. But like I say, it may not be considered the Ambassador because it's not ultra portable like the Quest or the Pico 4 or the Pico Neo 3 or any of those standalone headsets. The HTC Vive now is going to come out with one. Those all have, it's basically mobile VR, like the ones where you'd put your phone in, on steroids, where they found out the angles that the lenses need to be at, and they found out kind of the lowest resolution you can use without it being kind of not fun. And they found out where the screen door effect would basically go away. And like I say, the lenses, the newer lenses on the Pico 4, they are pancake lenses. That's, I guess somebody coined that term. But usually pancake would refer to flat screen gaming. That was referred to as flat screen gaming. Pancake, they were saying that for a while, but now there's pancake lenses, so I guess I don't know what all that's about, but I didn't coin that. This is the new headset. As you can see, somebody just put it in there very gently. And there we have yet another Reverb G2. Now, why would I have three? Why wouldn't I venture out? Well, honestly, for PC VR, this is an excellent headset. I wish it had pancake lenses because I hear that they are better in some ways, but it's possible that it's kind of a side upgrade because there are distortions, not distortions, but there are some reflections that you would get. These are actually a hybrid lens. It's half aspherical and half Fresnel, from what I can tell. A Fresnel lens is usually completely flat. Here you can see the extra layer that they give you if you want that extra space. This holds it off of your eyes. Now, these are all things that almost everybody knows that's watching this video, but in case you don't, if your eyes are sunken in your face more, you're going to want this. If your eyes are further out from your face, then maybe you would want to add this, because that gets all our eyes to the same point. So a lot of people have sunken eyes in their skull. So this actually gets the FOV where it needs to be. Everybody's different and the fit is different, and so it is what it is. But the aspherical lenses are usually kind of round, like you would think a lens is. And a Fresnel lens is like the flat lens with the ridges in it, but it's completely flat. This is round on this side, and I believe probably a little bit round on the other side, so it's slightly aspherical, but then it also has the ridges, but they're minimized. So it's a bit of a hybrid, actually. If you look at it from here, you can see how it's rounded out. And I have some lenses from HTC Vive, and they are completely flat here, and then Fresnel on the other side. This is rounded, so you do get some lensing, but then you get additional Fresnel that takes you to the next step. So that's what we have. And the ridges are not really deep, and they're very fine. Sometimes you'll see some where the ridges are more coarse. See, those are a little bit finer and they're not as deep, because they can be finer if they don't need to be as deep, because it is partially aspherical. So the other kind of lensing that they're coming out with and using now is coined the pancake lenses, and that is a set of 2 lenses. And I think it's somewhat having similar to do with like the valve index, and maybe not exactly, but it's a set of 2 lenses, and it can induce some more glare. So there's drawbacks to every kind of lens, but I found that these work pretty well if you get them in the right spot. You get clarity for a good third of the inner portion of the lens, and it does start to have properties from both the aspherical and the Fresnel. It's a little bit of both. A lot of times the aspherical lenses will induce a lot of chromatic aberration, and the Fresnel lenses will actually cause a lot of blurring on the outside. So you get a little bit of both, but it's just a moderate amount of both with this headset. So I like that. Tracking is fine, it works well. They're maybe better on the market, maybe occlusion could be less of a problem with those headsets. But these are actually going for a steal used. If you're looking for one used, you can get an excellent deal on it. Trendfort sells them on eBay, and I've had good experience. I wouldn't buy anything for parts from that person, but if you were to buy a working headset, in my experience, mine worked just fine. And I've bought cables and all kinds of different things. So, but this is brand new. They were on sale for $300 over Black Friday, and it's possible that this is one. So, you know, these unboxes have been done. I just wanted to go over it for 2023. If you have a decent card that can run it, like I say, it's not the Ambassador. You get the controller. It's a little bit light. Any controller you use, you'll get used to. It's nice if you have the money and the time to buy every headset. I think that would be great. But the Reverb G2 for 2023, I was thinking about other headsets, and I thought, you know, I think I just want another Reverb G2. Always be careful that they're not calling up a different resolution. If one says it works better, it gets more frames, be careful that they just don't have a lesser super sampling, because sometimes it will just call up a super sampling that is not as aggressive, and you'll get some more frames from that. So always be sure that your target resolution is apples to apples when comparing headsets. So here's everything in the box. This is the cable box you want because it has this button on it. To turn off VR, you just hold this for 3 seconds. It goes off. Everything on your computer goes to a resting state. Otherwise, it's burning 400 or 500 watts. So a real quick and easy way to turn the heater off in your computer is to hit this button for 3 seconds, and it goes away. And then you can just hit it back on, and the light will come onto the side. They give you batteries, power brick, all the cables you need. It's just one cable to the headset. So that's the unboxing portion. This is a brand new headset. I'm glad to have it. I'm going to rock it hard. When looking at, say, the Pico, and when looking at, say, the offerings from Facebook and that whole conglomeration and their interests and desires, just know that everybody else is doing it too. They're just not being honest about it. Facebook is saying, yes, we're going to steal your information. Yes, not steal. We're going to grab your information and use it as we see fit, and that's part of the deal. So it's very possible that other entities are doing the same thing. They're just not talking about it. So where you think he's being dishonest, he's actually the most honest of them all. So that's a little strange. But what you got to think about is, do you like the game at all? Do you want to be in that position? Do you like that? And it is what it is. I think possibly very well that Microsoft is doing the same thing to a point. I don't know. But the thing is you don't have to upload pictures of your family to Windows Mixed Reality and have it combined or even have the interest that it would be combined. Now, they do save some photos on your computer with the OneDrive, so if you're uploading OneDrive, it's not a lot different. But your daily interactions may or may not be saved. I don't know. It's just, you can kind of tell by looking at somebody how you feel about them and how they interact with other people and what they say and when they say it. So if you're getting creeped out by Facebook by what he says and when he says it, then this might be a good alternative for you other than the Pico 4. I'm actually very intrigued with the Pico 4, but honestly, I had a PlayStation 1 and I'm over it. Like, I don't want 1 teraflop and I don't want 2 teraflops because I'm just beyond that. Now, if you really want to have something to take to a friend's house and be the ambassador for VR, then those standalone headsets are excellent. Anyway, this is a long talking point that's out there, and I really can't help it any. But I did want to talk about the Reverb G2 in 2023 and why I bought another one, and that is because I really like it, and I'm going to show you why. Now, this is running on a 30, what is this one? This is a 3080 Ti, 5600X. So I have not gotten into the newest generation of cards yet, and I don't need it because this reprojects. So I do get a little bit of wiggle. If you notice, I might get a little bit of wiggle, but I'm getting basically through reprojection like 3 GPU generations into the future just because of reprojecting to 90. Now, granted, it is reprojection, so someone might argue with me, but look at that view down the runway. And that's what you see in 3D. So it's phenomenal. A lot of people have seen this, but this is why I buy the Reverb G2 3 times in a row. I got a steal on the first 2 by getting, and then this one, I even got less than MSRP. You just got to get it in the middle. So your eyes are like that too. You got to get it in the middle. But as you can see, once you do, look at that, it clears right up. Okay, so here we are. Camera recording, I believe in 60 FPS, I hope. Sometimes I have it set on 30 from some other time. I actually believe this to be 60 FPS. And as you can see, I'm clipping a little bit because I'm just standing holding the thing. But you get an idea. I'm moving it, trying to find the sweet spot. It usually holds pretty well in the sweet spot for you once you get there, especially when you adjust it on your head. But it's a very detailed program, and it runs really well with the Reverb G2 with reprojection and the OpenXR toolkit that has foveated rendering and other features. You really need to be able to tune it. So if you're new, that's where these newer headsets, the ambassador headsets, come in, is you don't need to know much because there's a steep learning curve. If you've never had a PC, you won't even know how to turn it on. It's not that hard. You just go, you just install Steam VR, and then press the Steam VR button at the top of the page and it turns on. But until you know that, you don't know that. So I have the autopilot on, the AI pilot. So for me, it's fun to look at. I could do this all day, but maybe you want to see something else. But this is uncompressed. That's one of the main features of this headset. The other headsets, if you play PC VR that uses a powerful PC, it will be a compressed image, and we have all seen that with Netflix, and a lot of us are getting very much accepting of all of that. I personally have turned off my Netflix, and they kept charging me for a year. And I went to check my account, and you can't get in because it says join Netflix. But yet I still pay for an entire year, and PayPal got me all my money back, and they continued, even though I was getting refunds, to charge me another month. So that's compressed. So this is uncompressed. I also have a Xbox One X, and I can watch 4K Blu-rays. On a 4K screen, a 4K Blu-ray looks way better than anything 4K on Netflix, and that is because of downscaling. If it's a hair above 1080p, they'll still call it 4K. And also bandwidth issues. They need to get it through the line. If it can't make it, they downscale a little bit. They change the compression to where it can make it, and it can look pixelated. The blacks can have like 4 versions to where in a dark scene you just see like these clouds of pixels. You've seen it. We've all seen it. So that's what you get with PCVR. And I think that you could turn it up to where it's not so bad. You could turn it up. You could have the beastliest computer on earth. But why would you do that? So it's nice to move freely. If you're into a lot of gun games where you need to move freely, the punching and the exercising, for a lot of that, the standalones are probably pretty good. And even streaming from PC is probably excellent. But for simulations and also some exercising, I can play with the cord. I've gotten used to it. You just run it, you just find it a way to do it. Maybe you run it down your leg or something. Maybe I actually just let it hang free, and it really hasn't been a whole lot of an issue. But I think some people like to be free of it. I would like to be free of it as well. But I know that even 4K movies still come on a disc. And that's because people like uncompressed, because it just doesn't have any compression artifacting. So that's long-winded. I could just say it in one sentence and that would be it. But just looking around while I'm saying it, there's the visual telltale to what I'm saying. And this is a 2160 by 2160 resolution panel. And many of the others are not as good. The Pico 4 is a 2160 by 2160. The others, including the new Vive that's coming out, that's $1,100, that's going to be standalone, is 1920 by 1800 or so. It's just a little bit less. It'll still look excellent, and people will be very defensive over it because they love it. And it's like anything else that you do, your hand size, whatever it be, you like it. So that's fine. But for a VR headset without compression, without having to worry about being the ambassador, but just having the best PC VR, this looks excellent. So here's another popular game. This is Walkabout Mini Golf. Play golf with your friends with decent physics and true to life views. You're standing there, you're not pressing a button. It's not Wii. This isn't Nintendo Wii Golf or anything like that. This is walk around and hit the golf ball, talk, see the avatar that someone made that looks just like them. And I think some people are getting a little bit jealous of what's out there right now, and they want it. It's kind of a Tesla Edison moment. So you can see I have it to where it works pretty well with my GPU. I have upped the super sampling quite a bit before, and it gets even sharper, but sometimes it can hiccup, so I just leave it down just a hair. You can see how good it looks. We can just go down here. Let's see, do I have... Where's my putter? There it is. Did I get it? Oh, not quite. So it's hard to play in this way, holding the camera to the headset. But you can see that it's a fantastic game. You can play people you don't know, or make private rooms and play private games, which is what we do. And they do have this on the standalone headsets. At least Meta has it, I believe. It's possible it's their game. Some of them come through, but you can see that this is using quite a bit of a 3080 Ti. So it's super sampled, and it's hitting a frame rate that's a little higher, and maybe more colors or something, I don't know. But it looks really nice. The field of view is more than what you see here. You're seeing probably half from side to side. I mean, there's more to it. You can kind of go, once your eyeball's in there, maybe 2/3, but yeah. So it gives you an idea of what the Reverb G2 looks like with this game. So now one more thing to think about is the audio. This has really good bass speakers on it. I'm going to go ahead and take the mic and just put it right down there. So that's the sound. That's the sound of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I guess we're in the clouds. It's really not bad at all, actually. And here's the sound of the golf game. Here's the major difference between the standalone and the PCVR. Just visualize. People can say it. They can say you need a high-end PC. But this is visually what it takes to run both those headsets. And this is what they sound like. And they feel like a heated blanket. So yeah. If a person is new to VR, that looks like a mess, but that's everything I need, to be honest with you. If you're new to VR, that's a high price to pay to check it out. So that's why the Ambassador headsets are being talked about in 2023. Now, people saw what happened to 3D TVs, and they don't want these to be 3D TVs. In fact, that may be a reason all the hype is over for the Reverb G2. The hype train has came and passed. It's still mentioned, but everything anyone wants to know about it, there's a video out there about it. You can talk about the problems, the benefits. No matter what year it is, it's going to be the same. The Reverb G2 V2 did come out just recently within, I think it's been a year or so. So it does have some revisions, but the core of it is the same. And, but that train is passed. The hype train is hyped already. And so, it still gets a fair shake in videos and in online representation, but that initial excitement is over. But don't discount it. I think one of the main things that has people a little bit bummed is there's no talk of a Reverb G3. And Windows Mixed Reality had a lot of different headsets that came out, and they came and went. It was kind of like Samsung did one, and some of the other guys did one. Dell did one. It was like a 1400 by 1600. Some of them more basic than others, some of them with different screens, some OLED. They used the Windows Mixed Reality protocol to make their headset. They all came out at the same time, and it was a time for a Windows Mixed Reality PCVR headset, but that time has kind of came and passed. So now it comes down to, does it stick? That's what people want to know. And people don't want to be rocking the headset and then all of a sudden there's no revision, there's no refinement, there's no R&D being done anymore, and it's kind of a dead horse that you can use. It's still good. I mean, a 3D TV is still good. A 3D TV is still good today, the same as it was the day it was made. Usually, well, maybe it would have some wear on it, but the concept of it. Here's the IPD adjustment. Anyone who's interested in this has seen the reviews, but I just wanted to talk about it for 2023. And Windows Mixed Reality does not have a lot of the Steam survey. A lot of people are going to want the headset that other people have, the one that's trending, the one that's going to win. They don't want to be on board with the headset that is going out of style. The protocol for headsets that will soon be obsolete. It just doesn't, in tech, that's not fun. So I think that's one thing that's, Windows Mixed Reality only has 5% of the Steam survey per Steam, that is, per Steam's results that they are posting. And supposedly Meta has 40%, which is quite a number, very fast. Of course, they were Oculus before that, but that's a lot. And I don't know, somehow it just seems a little bit, it's hard for me to exactly explain, but I'm just going to say that maybe there's more to it. Maybe people are trading them. Maybe they're going from house to house and saying, hey, and it works on, you have Steam, right? Let's check it out. Maybe it's they're being passed around at churches. Everyone can try one. It's just, you just don't know exactly how solid those results are. Now, when you buy a Reverb G2, you hook it up to your computer, and that's where it sits. The Reverb G2 is kind of static. It doesn't move around. It doesn't go to your buddy's house. They have to come over to check it out. You could take it with you and technically install it, but I just kind of have a feeling that the Metas, actually, I saw a report, I don't know if I can trust that either, that said that most people turn them off, like 60% of people turn them off after like a few months. And if you turn something off, it's very likely you either put it in the closet, or a lot of people try to recoup their money, so they sell it. So it's very possible that some of these headsets are being sold, traded, but I would like to see more from HP, even if they used a different protocol, even if they used something in-house. And OpenXR has been very competitive. I kind of wonder where OpenXR comes from and who's going to move who. So that's, in short, what I think about the Reverb G2. Now, in a year's time, there could be some new headsets on the market, but even so, I still think the Reverb G2 is going to continue to be a good headset for a number of years, especially if your computer came out about the same time as the Reverb did. And Microsoft Flight Simulator, this was the headset that they recommended, and that will never change. This was the headset that was recommended when it came out. Regardless of what PC you have, you can play almost all the games usually, and I suggest that you do. If you don't have Reverb G2, I don't have an Aero, I'm fine. I have a Reverb G2. If you don't have a Reverb G2 and you have one of the older mixed reality headsets, you can still play the VR and it's still amazing. It just use what you have. Even if it's one of those Metas or whatever. I don't recommend Meta. I would probably get a Pico if I was in that boat. But you know, it's all VR, and you do get the feeling of presence, and you do get to interact, and it can be a great exercise. So, as we all know, I guess that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that gives you some insight into what I think about the Reverb G2 in 2023. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that helps you with getting some insight on the Reverb G2 for 2023. If you're shopping for a headset, if you're thinking about different headsets, I'm sure this one could very well be in your top 3 at least. Always remember, you can shop at my eBay store, GB Hatchery. I sell all kinds of used clothing, shoes, sporting goods, skates, all kinds of different things on my eBay store. Always remember, GB Hatchery. Other than that, I hope you're safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.